For every video on this channel, the background behind me was fake. In this one, so am I.
That was not me. That was a copy of me, trained on 28 clips of my own face. Trained over there on the Spark and rendered over there on my 5090. 164 hours of training, 6.5 days. And it was finished after 39 hours. I just didn't know it because every number I was watching said it was still getting better.
The job was simple. Take a character LoRA of one person, me, and find out where the sweet spot actually is. LTX 2.3, rank 32, 8,000 steps, saving a checkpoint every 250 steps. That's 32 versions of me, from barely trained to catastrophically overcooked. Everybody asks how many steps you should train for. Every answer you'll find is somebody's feeling. I wanted to measure it.
And that voice you've been listening to for the last minute? Also not me. That's checkpoint 2,250. Before any of this meant anything, I had to fix two things in my own workflow, and both of them would have made the whole experiment worthless. First, my prompt had a prompt enhancer switched on. An LLM was rewriting my prompt before it even reached the model. At temperature 0.7, every single checkpoint would have been given a different prompt. I'd been measuring the enhancer, not the training. Second, it's a 2-pass pipeline, and the second pass was reseeding every run. Half the render was rolling fresh dice each time. Fixed seed, fixed prompt, enhancer off. The only thing that changes between these 32 clips is the checkpoint. 250 steps, 500, 1,000. And that's about as good as it ever gets.
Watch the whole run at once, and you can see the shape of it. It arrives fast, it holds for a while, and then it starts to go somewhere else. At 250 steps, that is not me. That's a stranger with my haircut. At 1,750, it locks in. That's the moment it becomes a likeness. And here's the thing nobody mentions. The voice got there first. It converged about 3 times faster than the face. The face survives a long time. The movement does not. By 2,500 steps, it had lost 71% of its motion. He still looks like me. He's just stopped moving like a person.
And that number is generous because by the late checkpoints, the background is moving. The person is even stiffer than the chart says.
Today, we are going to experiment.
Everything so far degraded gradually. This doesn't.
Today, we are going to experiment with. 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 Today, we are going to experiment. Today,
14 checkpoints in a row.
Today, we are going.
Every one of them says the line perfectly. 3,750, it cracks. 4,000, it's half gone. 4,250, it comes back perfectly once, and after that, it never gets back. That's still my voice. It's the right timbre, the right rhythm, the right confidence. It just isn't words anymore. I measured this by running every clip through Whisper and comparing what came out to what I asked for. And Whisper told me that at step 7,750, I said, that. Which is nonsense, because there is no words in that audio at all. Whisper is a language model. It does not output gibberish. It outputs plausible English always. So on my broken audio, it invented a sentence and it hands it to you with total confidence. If you use Whisper for your subtitles, it's doing this to you right now on every inaudible line. The fix? Transcribe twice at different temperatures and compare. Real speech decodes identically, hallucinations don't. Below 3,500 steps, my two decodes agreed 100% of the time. Above 4,500, they agreed 47%.
This is the one that actually matters if you want to use the model. I wrote a prompt describing this room. By 8,000 steps, it ignored every word of that description and rendered the background from my old videos instead.
Which is the background from my old videos, the one that was in every single training clip. It didn't learn me, it learned the photograph. The more I trained it, the less control I had. At 250 steps, the prompt is in charge. At 8,000, the prompt is decoration.
28 clips, 2 minutes and 48 seconds of source material, all cut from one video. One background, one camera, one framing. Every caption in that dataset describes the background, word for word, all 28 of them. And it still got memorized.
Because captioning does not create separability, variance does. If a thing is in 100% of your examples, the model never sees a counterexample, so the words and the pixels just fuse together. You cannot caption your way out of a dataset that never changes. Here's my training loss for the whole run. It goes down for 6.5 days, right through every failure I've just shown you. Identity peaked here, motion died here, speech broke here, it stopped listening to me here, and a loss never moved a muscle. Training loss measures how well the model reconstructs its training set, which is the exact thing you do not want in a character LoRA getting better at. After the peak, a falling loss isn't progress, it's memorization being rewarded. That's why everybody overtrains. The only number most of us watch is the one number that cannot see the problem. And it's worse than useless because it's noisy. Look at the 4 consecutive checkpoint saves. 1.11, 0.58, 1.32, 0.49. A 63% swing between saves that are 250 steps apart. You can't read that number step by step. You can only read the trend, and that trend is down all the way to the end. 164 hours, peak at 39. 76% of that run actively made it worse. And here's the part that surprises me. The Spark was pulling somewhere between 20 and 60 watts the whole time. 6.5 days of training came to about 7 kilowatt hours, call it $1 of electricity. So it didn't cost me money, it cost me 5 days of a machine I could have been using for something else. And a model that was worse than the one I already had at day 2.
So for a 28 clip dataset at rank 32, stops somewhere between 1,750 and 2,500. Don't watch the loss. Watch samples and watch them for the right things. Can it still move, and does it still do what the prompt says? Handing it a real photograph buys you about 2,000 extra steps. It does not save an overtrained model. There is no prompt and no setting that gets it back. The only fix is to have stopped early.
One subject, one model, one dataset. This is a case study, not a law. Your numbers will be different, but the shape will be the same. It peaks earlier than you think, it fails in stages, and the loss curve lies to you the entire time. Next, I'm rebuilding the dataset, multiple backgrounds, multiple framings, everything else held identical, and running the exact same 32 checkpoint sweep. If variance is really the cause, the memorization should move or disappear. If it doesn't, I was wrong, and I'll show you that too.